Hi, this is Michael Jake with localmentor.com. I wanted to give you guys a brief video on wholesaling houses. I get a lot of folks ask me how I got started and how I got to be so good at wholesaling houses. And really, when I got started, it was just out of sheer need. Needed to churn some cash, get liquid so we could start doing all types of different transactions. But I've never really fell out of love with wholesaling. We still do wholesales today, even after we've done hundreds and hundreds of transactions. There's still a house that's just maybe not the perfect thing for you, or maybe you got too many retail deals in the hopper. So I never have a problem wholesaling the deal and get a nice chunk of cash right now with very, very little effort. So let's talk about how you can do your first wholesale deal. I think that's what everybody really cares about. And a lot of the fears, when I'm coaching and mentoring my platinum students and other folks, one of the big fears they tend to have is what happens if I find this house and I can't sell it, okay? The reality is you're putting a contract on a property to purchase. What happens if you can't find somebody to flip it to? So what I teach all my folks is let's start with the end result, okay? What do we need first? We really want a buyer first. And ultimately, this really is going to shortcut us a lot of time in the entire process. So get out if you don't have a piece of paper, get a piece of paper, get a pen, because you're going to take a little bit of notes. What I'm going to do is show you a couple of steps that you can use to build a buyer's list absolutely free, and also not only build yourself a buyer's list of serious folks that want to buy your wholesale deals, but also let those people shortcut your research process and literally back you into the right neighborhoods. So before I get started, that was one of my big issues getting started, was I was literally spinning my wheels, wasting a lot of time, energy, effort, looking in the wrong neighborhoods. So let's start with, go to a newspaper stand, just about any grocery store. You can pick up whatever the major newspaper is in your area. You can typically pick up one of these little cheap or free classified newspapers. In my area, we have what's called the American Classifieds. It used to be the Thrifty Nickel. There you've got hundreds of investor ads. There's other little neighborhood newspapers. You can get on Google. You can Google your way to find other investors. You can drive around on the weekends, write down all the numbers for the bandit signs, billboards, anybody that's doing radio, yellow pages. Basically, here's a pool of phone numbers of investors you can call. It doesn't cost you virtually nothing. It might cost you $1 for a newspaper, but more or less you can get this stuff for free. So now, just dig in. Get yourself a piece of paper, get yourself a pen, start calling these folks and start interviewing them, okay? What our goal is when we call them, because we don't have a deal yet, do we? We're looking to figure out how we can get a deal. So our first step really is to find out who the serious players are, okay? Because how many people are going to seminars left and right, trying to be a real estate investor. They go out, they buy some signs, or they run a classified ad for a week. Nothing happens, so they give up and they're off to the next thing. We're really looking for the people that are serious. So what we want to do is ask them a few simple questions. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's say, listen, I'm looking to wholesale houses to seasoned investors. Do you have a couple of minutes I could spend with you on the phone? Always ask for permission to talk to them, okay? But once you get their permission, say, listen, help me help you. Tell me exactly what you want so I can go find it for you and give you some of the best deals. So tell me exactly, one, what are you looking for? First, are you a cash buyer? Is that something you're interested in? Are you looking for fixer-upper type properties or properties with a lot of equity? So if the answer is yes, say, well, great. One, how quick can you close? Two, if they let's stop on that one before we get too far. If they answer 30 days, in my opinion, that's not a real deal investor. A real deal investor can write a check, or they've got immediate access to hard money, private money, or some source of funds that can typically close in a week, okay? So if they say 30 days, probably not who you really want to deal with. You get somebody that says, hey, I can close as soon as we get clear title, that's really your guy, okay? Those are the people I'm going to pay a little more attention to. Okay, now you say, great, you can close quickly. Tell me exactly what you like to close on. What's your perfect house? Okay, now I'm in the Colorado Springs market. If I was doing this and I pick up the phone and somebody says, well, I'm looking for houses in Colorado Springs. Well, Great. Okay, let's be a little more specific. Tell me, I understand you'll buy anywhere, but if you had to pick a certain house that you love, I mean, where would it be? How big would it be? What neighborhood? What amenities? And on top of things that are must-haves, ask me what things you don't want. What's a deal killer for you? Is it you're only looking for things that are a certain amount of rehab or whatnot? Or is it somebody that likes the serious problems, the burnouts, the structural problems? You want to take notes and build yourself a little database. You can either do it in a little notebook. I've been using these little notebooks for years. When I got started, I just literally hand wrote everybody's names and information in these. I mean, I've got a little more sophisticated at this point. We use databases, but I mean, if you've got a computer, you probably got Excel or some spreadsheet like that. That's an easy way to keep track of all the people that you come in contact with. So you start interviewing these folks, and what you're really looking for is you're looking for the commonalities. Okay, when I got started investing, it wasn't which book I read, it's how many can I read. And I guess business mentor of mine said, you don't I guess you don't have to look at everything somebody does. You read all the books by the pros and you see what are the commonalities. What are the core principles that they're all doing? Okay, well, we're going to apply that to our wholesale buyers list. We want to say, how many guys are looking for this kind of product in this neighborhood? If I start seeing the same neighborhoods, the same style product, now I'm pretty much honed in. I've got a neighborhood, I've got a style of house. So now that kind of shortcuts our process. Now we've got a buyer's list. The buyers have told us exactly what they're willing to pay. All we got to do now is go shop that neighborhood, be a better marketer in that neighborhood, and get deals at something below what those investors are willing to pay. That's it, okay? So now we've got our buyers list. We know what we're looking for. We know where we're looking for it. Now we just got to go find it. That comes down to marketing, okay? We're looking for ugly vacant houses typically. Don't necessarily need to be ugly, but I would say the commonality of most of the wholesale deals I've flipped, not all, but most, is they're typically ugly, they're vacant, they're kind of in the blue collar price range in the retail. That's where the sweet spot is. So assuming you've found that, assuming you've got your buyer's list, now you just want to dive into that. When I got started, my wife and I used to drive those neighborhoods. She'd take one side, I'd take the other side. We'd just literally slowly drive up and down the blocks looking for the ugly vacant ones, looking for the houses that had the big piles of newspapers in the front, the big trash bags. Sometimes there's a big pile of stuff on the curb where it looks like somebody's been evicted. Other indicators are you'll see a bunch of handbills on the door where obviously haven't been taken off for a long time. That's a good indicator the house is vacant. Overgrown weeds, long trees. In the wintertime in Colorado, we got snow for part of the year. If you see a snow day, or it's been a couple of days after snow day, there's no tracks in the drive, that's a good indicator nobody's living there as well. So now we create our list of empty vacant houses, preferably fixer-uppers. We start contacting the owners either by mail or by picking up the phone. If you don't know how to call them, get on the internet, go to Google, go to whitepages.com, 411.com, anywho.com, start plugging in the address and looking for a phone number for the owner. You also want to refer to the tax rolls. Look at where the actual mailing address is, because if the house is vacant, likely the phone number's not there. You look at the tax roll first, see who owns it, see where the mailing address is on the tax rolls. Once you've got that, then you try to get a phone number for that address. And just simply pick them up and say, look, hey, I just was out driving around the neighborhood. I noticed your house at whatever the address is. I've been looking for a house in the area. I wonder if you might consider selling it. So from that point, we've got our list. We're starting to get to our target. Meaning our client who's got the prospect. So now we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to end this video. And in the next video, I'm going to take you through the rest of the process.